Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco. Dish out on the movies. Today we are doing the season of Daredevil Born Again.
You don't
season
remember what
2,
season?
episode 7, called The Hateful Darkness. Which I don't know if it's a very appropriate title, but whatever.
So, anyways, we're kind of done with this season. I don't know. To be honest, I can hardly even remember what happens in the episode because I wanted to review it like 5 days ago, and Safi wasn't ready until today.
That's not true at all. I've been ready for days.
That's a lie.
Marco.
It's a total lie.
Marco.
But we prioritized MasterChef because MasterChef is actually good, and Daredevil isn't. And besides, MasterChef gets more views and engagement, so that's kind of how we're gonna treat things sometimes too. Like, if a show or a movie doesn't get very much engagement, then we're not gonna do more of that because that's not very smart, or we're not gonna prioritize it. So, this episode, though, barely anything happens in the whole episode. I mean, it's almost like, it's probably one of the worst pre-finale episodes that I've ever seen. Like, usually the episode before the finale is always like that there's too much happening, and it's too climactic, and it's too, like, it's too much bigger than the finale, and then the finale seems kind of a letdown. But in this situation, it might be the opposite, where maybe the finale will finally have something happen in it. And this episode was just it was more like the hateful bridge. It was like the hateful bridge to the finale. Because, I mean, I genuinely hated the whole episode. I hate the show now. I hate everything about it. I don't even want to watch season 3 because it's just so bad. Like, it just, I don't even feel like talking about it. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, it's not even worth it. What do you have to say about the episode, Safi?
Well, something big did happen that Marco was really mad about. I mean, because he's a filmmaker and he knows more about the technical aspects of filmmaking, and he said it was totally wrong and irresponsible and every
I know more.
negative.
I know more about it than you. You should put it that
yes,
way.
Yes, he knows more about it than me. I watch it as I look at things differently now than I did before, just because I've been doing it for a few years. But, I mean, I don't have this filmmaker view. It's like when I played the violin, the piano, guitar, all these things I grew up with. If I hear somebody playing, I can tell when they're out of tune or they made a mistake. And Marco may not be able to tell that. So it's just kind of what I've grown up with and what he wants to do. And what he's been training himself to do. And he's watched a lot more movies and shows than I have. And anyway, he has a more critical eye. And I mean, I would agree with him, but I mean, this is like a totally egregious thing that happened.
Yeah.
According to him. And I guess, I mean, it's just, things could have been, I'll just put it this way, in my estimation, as somebody isn't as experienced as he is, it's totally uncalled for, and they could have done things differently. So, yeah. I mean, I can agree with that because it's true. So, well, anyway, it just starts out, well, they always show a few things at the beginning, and they showed the Kingpin, and he goes over to his wife's jewelry box and notices one of the earrings is gone, and it's a beautiful little, I think it's diamond and ruby earring. It's like almost like a stud, so it's a little circular teardrop shaped earring, and one of them's gone. And if you recall, or I think Marco mentioned it last week. The psychiatrist took one.
Yeah, I thought maybe she took both, but I didn't really know because I fast forwarded through that scene because I just couldn't stand it.
But that was weird. She took one.
Yeah.
But he noticed it, and he remembers, and he actually has a long memory.
So, anyways, we're not going to go through this whole episode.
Yeah, I know,
like
but
that,
that's what it started off with.
But,
Talking about
anyways,
not a lead up to a finale. That's for sure.
Yeah, the first complaint would be, this is supposed to be the Daredevil show, and the first episode of the episode before the finale is like a throwaway scene of Kingpin finding that his wife's jewelry was taken. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, seriously, like, what a stupid opening scene for a stupid show.
Well,
I hate this show.
The show's about betrayal.
The show's about trash.
Kind of fake betrayal.
The writers betrayed because the writers betrayed all the fans, and the writers are trash. That's the betrayal. And so, but another thing too, and I just want to bring this up, is that, the people on Twitter who talk about this show, a lot of them seem to know more than the fans do. The fans do who watch the show. So there were these critics or these people. I don't know who they exactly are, but they said that they watched these episodes before they actually came out, and they claimed that in episode 7 and 8, the guy who plays Daredevil, Charlie, he gives an incredible performance. And I just wondered, like, what part of episode 7 is that actor giving any kind of performance?
Very little.
He's hardly in the episode. Like, he's in the episode for like 2 minutes out of 50.
Well, I think
40.
I counted. He was in it like 4 times, but it adds up to be like probably less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, because he's just hardly even there. So I just wonder, why are these people lying? Like, why would you lie and say that he gave a great performance? There's no part of this episode where, Matt is giving some kind of like an Emmy-worthy anything. It's just like the same old shit we've seen a million times. If anything, it almost kind of seemed like he was phoning it in, because like he was hardly even there, and he just shows up and leaves. And another big issue with this episode, of which there are many, is the editing. The editing is terrible. This show is edited like a trailer because they don't have enough episodes. And the actor playing Daredevil, he even admitted on a podcast that they have cut out a lot of scenes involving him.
Oh.
Involving the main character. He talked about that. I thought that was really bizarre. Like, really? This is the Daredevil show now. This is Daredevil Born Again. It's a show about side characters. And the bad guy, Kingpin, who's just going to be the bad guy for the rest of Daredevil's life. They're going to be fighting in the nursing home together. And then Kingpin's just going to eat Matt. He's just going to pick him up and eat him like a burrito. Have a Daredevil burrito.
Well, I thought it was interesting last week that he really kind of bested Daredevil. And I don't know if it's because Daredevil held back. I don't know. I mean, it's not like Jessica Jones, who's lost some of her power because she had a baby. That's not the case. So I don't know if anybody has an idea about this. When he fought Kingpin last week, which was almost at the end of the episode.
You're saying he bested Daredevil?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen at all.
He got the you know what beaten out of him.
No, he didn't. Daredevil got back at the end and he defeated Kingpin.
Well,
Did you not watch the episode?
It ended up being pretty much of a draw.
No, it was Daredevil beat him.
Okay.
He kneed him in the face. Safi.
Okay.
He could have killed him if he wanted to. Kingpin was done for. And by the way, after all this talk about how Kingpin is going to turn the city upside down after Vanessa died, he is just not doing anything now.
He's just giving orders and sitting staring.
He's just moping around. Which honestly is hilarious because I feel like that's a decision that the original team would have made. Because didn't they have that to where before this show started, he was like just sitting around being depressed for like 10 years while Vanessa ran the show or something?
I don't know what was going on there. Yeah, and she did run the show.
Like that was the story that they had. And now Kingpin is just going to sit around and mope. That's not the character at all, by the way.
Well, he still gave some very harsh orders.
Yeah, but that's just not the character.
And we didn't even see him either. We didn't even see all the orders.
What happened to Kingpin turning the city upside down? That was supposed to be what happened.
Well, no, he did not turn the city upside down.
No, he's turned upside down a bag of Lay's chips instead, while he just sits around by the fireplace like a fucking idiot. So, that's all Kingpin does this episode.
He goes to see Karen because remember, she got arrested, put in jail. They have evidence against her, but it's so they can't really let her out. If somebody lets her out, sneaks her out, it would be bad because she'd be wanted and they probably would kill her. So he goes to see her and he talks to her, he grabs her throat and almost crushed her windpipe. And he called her a criminal. And she said some things to him, but I couldn't catch it all. He's an idiot and he's no good and, stuff to that like that.
Why couldn't you catch it? Weren't you watching that?
Yes, I was. Did you catch it? Did you catch what he said?
I can't remember. I watched a week. I watched it like a week ago.
Marco, let's not. But anyway, he left. And he did find out, Daredevil did find out about him visiting her in jail. He was really worried that they said he could have killed her then, and he didn't touch her.
That was stupid.
I mean, he didn't do that.
Never happened in real life. So, could you really imagine? It's just so unrealistic. And then there's another thing, too, where, now Karen is locked up, so Kingpin wants her trial to happen in, a couple days. That's not how trials work.
No, it isn't.
In the real world, even for people who are, political prisoners, like that Luigi guy who didn't do anything wrong, they're taking, a year or longer to do his trial.
That's because they've got the Department of Justice who's completely messed up.
That's just not how real life works.
No,
you can't just call a trial in 2 days.
No.
So that's another stupid thing that happened in this episode.
It's because they have this tribunal or something of 3 judges.
It's because of plot convenience, because it's a stupid TV show for stupid people. That's what it is.
So her lawyer is Matt's associate. And he actually, when they do the trial, he shows up.
Yeah.
And his, regular lawyer outfit.
That was so cringeworthy. They tried to frame it like, oh my god, this is such a cool moment. And it's just so dumb.
But then, of course, the ICE agents, or whatever they are, it's pretty much similar.
That whole moment with Matt showing up in court, they tried to treat it like it was like a highlight moment of the season. And the problem with that is there can't be a highlight for a character who's hardly even in the show. And it at the end of the day, it actually just looks stupid. It was a stupid moment. It was a stupid sequence. And he does question the lead ICE agent. That was cringeworthy too. Because apparently this lead ICE agent is so, like, cartoonishly evil that he purposefully says the phrase as serious as a heart attack, and then they cut to that Cherry guy who had a heart attack in like episode 1 or 2, as if like he just said that to purposefully antagonize someone in the trial. I thought that was stupid.
That was weird.
That was just cartoonish.
Well, since Matt showed up and the ICE agents, or some of them, know who he really is, they ambushed them in the parking lot and shot him in the leg. And then the lawyer, Karen was taken to the jail, but her lawyer got whisked away. So that failed. Whatever they were, even though they shot him once in the leg, anything else they were trying to do failed.
I didn't know the logic there, like why they were doing that. Like
either.
They wouldn't be allowed to do that in real life. So
seriously,
it was just another stupid moment of like, it was almost kind of like the writers just suck so bad. They're like, oh, we gotta have something happen now, because nothing's happening in this shitty episode of this shitty show, so we just gotta have something happen, you know. So they're leaving court and then they start getting shot at. Oh my god, that's so intense. It's so intense that it just makes me want to turn the show off and go watch The Mentalist. And so then, for the rest of the episode, Matt goes to the church that he always goes to, and he sits and prays. That's all he does.
And that's it, really.
And then Jessica Jones shows up, though.
At the very end, she just walked in, you saw these boots, and then you saw her. So she's going to save him, so...
Yeah.
Whatever, of course. And, but anyway, let me see.
There was also a scene earlier on with Daredevil meeting Jessica Jones on a rooftop.
Yeah.
And this is the funniest part. So, out of all the characters in the Daredevil universe, Cherry, after having disappeared the entire season, he just stumbles on screen. He almost looks like the actor was just like, oh, you can come in now. And he just walked on screen. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot that character existed. And he just comes on and he gets to meet Jessica Jones. Like, out of all the Daredevil characters, the first one that she gets to meet is Cherry. And they share some information, I think, about Karen, whatever. And Daredevil also goes to visit Karen, by the way. And a lot of people are saying... They're saying that, like, Matt and Karen don't make a good couple. And I don't really think that's because of the characters. I think that's because of the writers. Because they hardly get any time together, and they don't really do very much on screen together, except for they kiss, and they dance that one time. Like, they don't really do anything else.
It's basically some kind of stressful situation where they're sharing information and watching a crime unfold or something. It's all, I mean, it's an intense situation. Or they're like, what do you call it? They're scoping out, like cops when they're doing surveilling. They're surveilling something, and that's basically that. If they're together, that's the majority of the time whatever it is, they're surveilling it, making observations together. That's it.
It's more of like an affair than a relationship, the way that it's portrayed on the show. And see,
I don't even know if it's that.
this is a problem with...
Not much of anything.
Yeah, this is a problem with modern writers and modern movies and shows. And it's funny because usually I complain that they won't show any sexual scenes or any nudity. But in this case, like, there's nothing to their relationship except for, like, some physical stuff, and that's it. And the problem is that a lot of modern movies and shows, they refuse to show a relationship. Like, you cannot get a relationship with romance. Like, they even did this with Superman, you know, where Clark and Lois, that movie sucked, where Clark and Lois are just meeting up and having sex, and that's basically it. And it's like, that's not, like, the full, like, story. Like, that shouldn't be the full story. Like, they should be doing other things. They do other things throughout the movie with him as Superman. But, like, in terms of their relationship, it didn't work at all. And he's supposed to be, like, a good boy from the 50s. Like, that type of person. They didn't really have affairs like that in the 50s unless... it wasn't, like, as common as it was nowadays with, like, traditional relationships. And this... Because it's a very modern thing. It's a very modern relationship. And so I don't like the relationship either. But at the same time, like, what would the alternative be?
I don't know.
Heather?
Ugh.
Ew.
Horrible.
So what do you think of their relationship? You said you didn't like it?
Well, it's kind of like a convenient thing.
Yeah.
I'm reading this Scottish Isle mystery series, and you kind of have this head cop. There's more to it than that. And then you have this female doctor, and they've had bad relationships, but they've had this thing. I'm on the 4th book, and it's kind of like that. Everything that they do, but there's a little bit more to it. But it's like, this is different though because they've had a past.
Yeah.
It's not like, this couple, they just met and it's something that's been developing, but these people already are close. They already have a relationship, and it's almost like what I'm reading in that book, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like,
yeah.
And it's like I said, they hardly do anything that shows them as a couple. They're just like fellow comrades, they're buddies. They're working on cases. They're surveilling. There isn't much. They did kiss. He came to see her in jail, and they pulled her out for about a friend of theirs for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I guess that's something.
And then, but he had to take her back.
Yeah.
And they all understood it. It was all agreed. Nobody fought it. She went back to jail. And, but they did kiss, but it was really, it's almost like it's forced.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem very genuine.
You can hear the director behind the camera going, "Okay, you can kiss now."
I don't know. And that really, that's bad.
Yeah.
Because they're really close, and you don't feel that.
The actors have good chemistry. They had it on the old show. They had it in season 1, so it's really weird how their relationship has... It's almost like 2 pieces of bland chicken. Like 2 pieces of chicken with no seasoning.
I don't know. That really is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know what else to say about, because other than he saw her in jail, and then they got shot in the leg in the parking garage, and then at the end he says his favorite church, and Jessica Jones walks in there, and you see her boots. You don't even see them. I don't think you don't see her coming up to him yet, and just the approach, and that's it. That's all for him for that episode, and it was like 4 times, and for less than 5 minutes.
4 little scenes.
And
it's kind of like how if you go to McDonald's now and get an Oreo McFlurry, it's like the amount of Oreo that they put in it. It's like there's hardly anything.
So anyway, Jessica Jones visited that FBI agent.
Mr. Charles.
His name is Charles.
It was Mr. Charles.
And, he told her to not do that anymore, or she's gonna kill him. And then he tells her he knows about her powers being weakened, and tells about her husband, who said he's in Europe, and he's doing, I had it down here what he's doing, some really stupid quote.
It just makes me cringe even hearing it again.
And then he finds out. She says, why are you still backing Kingpin? He says, I'm not anymore. I talked to the governor.
Yeah.
And apparently the governor is planning, although she never puts the end of the sentence. She said she wants to get somebody suspended. And, because remember when she talked to his wife, it was going to be okay, whatever they were doing. She was going to go along with it if his wife was in charge or doing most of the work. If she was up front or in front. But she's gone now. So she doesn't like Kingpin. So, but before that, we see Daredevil, and he goes to Bullseye, and he unhooks him from his handcuffs, and he says, remember when you wanted to do a good deed? And so we don't see anything else about it, and we think, maybe he's going to pull Karen out of jail.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what they were trying to tease you.
That was the intention.
That was going to happen. And it was kind of obvious, I guess. The governor got attacked, and whoever it was going to murder her. He was strangling her. And Bullseye was there, and he killed that.
Yeah.
Whoever it was. He was covered up. And his face and everything was covered. We don't know who it was.
That was like a 2-minute scene, though. It was such a significant moment, and it was only like a 2-minute scene.
And he made sure the governor saw him.
And you would also think, by the way, that because this kind of thing has happened before, you would think that there would be like a team of bad guys who would try to kill the governor. Like, because there's too many variables, and you just have one person. It's a lot safer to have a team go there so they can force her to do whatever. Like, they can, make her, I don't know. Like, they can, make her write a suicide note or something and then make her hang herself. I don't know. But, like, it was just the one. It was another scene that was almost like it was out of a trailer for a show than an actual scene.
Well, this has happened in real life. 2 governors have been attacked. One, they tried to burn his house down with he and his family in there. The other one was like a female governor, Gretchen Whitmer, and they had a group of people who tried to kidnap her. I don't know how that worked, where they saved her and they didn't even get away from the house. And, but anyway, so it's really hard to say what is real or what could be real. Because it has happened, but it's been different scenarios, different states, different governors. So, who knows? But Bullseye killed him, and they showed Bullseye walking away from the mansion, and here comes all these cop cars rolling up to the front to go in there.
Yeah.
It seems like she would have some kind of alarm button on her desk or something. You know, like in a bank, they have little buzzers.
Wouldn't she have, like, security in her mansion?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
I guess not. Not in the Daredevil Born Again show. Maybe
I
there's
know,
an explanation, though.
That's true. I don't know.
I don't know.
But, you know, the CIA guy, Charles, I think he was working with her. It looked like that. I don't think he would betray her. So I don't think that was anybody associated with him.
Safi, that's pretty obvious.
He's mad about what happened was all their stuff, those arms that he wanted, they had put them in a warehouse. They were keeping it for themselves. And then, Daredevil and Jessica Jones blew it all up. So he was mad anyway. He was just mad about the whole thing. If they would have been gone to where they were supposed to be if everything had worked out, and Kingpin messed it up and then took them to this warehouse where they were vulnerable.
I thought we weren't going to just go through everything.
I know, but I mean, that's...
that's last week. We already did that review last week, so...
So really, basically, I don't think there's anything else. That's what's happened. It's the next to the last episode.
There's nothing else to talk about?
Oh. It's the thing that Marco's most mad about.
I'm not mad about it. I would only be mad if I actually cared about the show anymore.
Well, of course, what happened last week? BB and Daniel are at his mom's house. And he's been told to trap her with something and say something to her, and then he would see it broadcast and he would know she's the leaker. And
that was last week.
So anyway,
anyways, this week in this episode that we're reviewing, he is supposed to take her to Buck to have her get killed. And so I guess he kidnaps her, he takes her phone, and he tells Buck that I'm gonna bring her to you. All of that is off screen, by the way.
No, they showed it. He texted, "I'm coming there." Remember, he said, "I've got a safe house for you."
But no, stop it! You're not listening. How did they get from Daniel's house to his car to drive over there? We don't see any process of him kidnapping her. Essentially,
no, we don't.
It's because the show's rushed and because they can't handle it. There's not enough episodes, and there's not... I mean, the episode was short, too. It was a short episode for some reason.
It seemed short.
Even though there was more stuff to do, have the main character, for instance, actually have scenes in the show. But it's such a shitty sequence of events here, because BB doesn't apologize at all. She never apologizes for being the leaker, or even just for hurting Daniel and getting his life in danger.
Yeah, getting him into trouble.
She never apologizes. Ever.
But you know what? I don't think it's because she's mean or hateful. I think she's clueless. She acted clueless to me, like she is another deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked. You think with all the things she's doing, she'd be a lot more wary and in tune to what's going on. And it's almost like a facade. Like she's only in tune to things she wants to be in tune to, and the rest she's oblivious. And I don't know if Daniel may never have been a danger to her. Somebody else could have, anybody. Because she's doing those TV, I don't know what you want to call it, podcast or whatever, where she's dressed up as Kingpin and saying all this stuff and making him mad. she just seems so clueless. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if she was just being stupid or oblivious or naive.
Well, the reason I didn't like it was because the last episode, now, funnily enough, I'm talking about last week.
It leads up into this. It sets the table for it.
Well, last week, she spent the whole episode starting to like Daniel. She's even going to let him kiss her, finally. And probably just one kiss. I guess that's the Daredevil born again version of the first step to a relationship is you get one kiss on the mouth, and it's like a rite of passage.
I guess so.
Or if you're Buck, you get strangled because the actress playing Heather said that maybe they shouldn't kiss for some reason, even they're gonna get together, which is hilarious because that usually. I mean, you would think... never mind. Okay, so anyways...
They're made for each other.
No. She spent the whole episode last week starting to like Daniel, and you would think that after all of that time spent with that, at the very least she would apologize to him for getting his life in danger.
Yeah, I
agree. But she doesn't.
No.
And so then... Daniel confesses to her that he helped dispose of a body. And he does that because he knows that he can't tell anyone else. See, at first I thought he was doing that because she could then report that. She could report it as part of the BB report, like, oh, well, this source told me that who's working for Kingpin that they buried a body.
No, that would be dangerous.
I thought that's why he did it, but he did it because he was intending on taking her to get killed. And he said nobody else can know. So hence, she was supposed to have gotten killed. And he's taking her in the building. He's about to take her in there. And she throws a tantrum, obviously, because she doesn't want to get killed. And then he chickens out. And I will also say, by the way, that leading up to this episode, there was this picture of the actor playing Daniel on set, and he had, like, blood all over his costume. And he almost looked like he was, like, angry or something. And it was actually the same wardrobe, but without the jacket. And so a lot of people were speculating, see, this was bad to look at. They were speculating, we're going to learn that Daniel actually has a dark side to him, and that he wasn't like this innocent brown-noser. And so, maybe he's going to kill her himself, or he's going to kill Buck or something. Like, it's like some kind of surprise moment. And, well, that never happens.
No.
Instead, he's very whiny, and he sacrifices himself for BB. And so I hated that because everyone has automatically said, oh my God, 10 out of 10, amazing. And it reminds me of Better Call Saul, where Saul... he sacrifices himself for Kim, and he confesses to everything so that Kim doesn't have to go to prison at all. That's what it reminded me of. But in Saul's case it was better because at least, he actually got something out of that relationship. Over the years, Daniel didn't get anything from BB. No. He didn't get anything. He didn't even get an apology. He shared a hot dog with Buck, or a sandwich. But with BB, he didn't get anything from her. And so, he sacrifices himself for no reason. Like, they both could have just run away. They could have had a whole story with that. Because he says, go somewhere safe, and she's still going to be in danger too.
Of course she is. That's why I thought that was ludicrous.
So that was so dumb. And so he goes to meet with Buck, and Buck beats him up really badly, and then he shoots him. Now, here's the thing. Not only did I not like that, because I didn't want the character to get killed, because this character, he had so much potential. Like, he had so much potential to be like Kingpin Jr., or to be some kind of interesting character who actually does something. And instead, he has now been wasted. And now here's the thing that's really irritating. The writers intended for Daniel to survive. That's what they wrote in the script. They also filmed him surviving. They filmed Buck letting him go. But in editing, the writers decided to change that. And the writers edited it to make it look like he got shot in the head. And then they cut away so that there's no dialogue and so there's no implication that he survived. They show blood and everything. They added that in. And I think, as a filmmaker, it is totally unprofessional that they did that because, I've done a similar thing, but I had issues with the actor, so, he wasn't going to return for another scene, so I made it to where his character disappears, and then another character shows up, but that was a situation where I was forced to, and it was a situation where I knew before I finished filming. I've never heard of changing the fate of a major character of a show after you filmed and when you're in the editing room. But what do you think about that, Safi? What do you have to say?
Well, it really affected Marco.
It didn't.
He was really upset.
Oh, I just thought it was stupid. I wasn't.
Tell me what was said. Weird. He just kept saying, Daniel, better call Daniel, because it reminds him of Better Call Saul.
We apologize for some kind of background noise, guys.
We don't know what it is. Sounds like a helicopter. We
had a similar thing happen at Goodwill. We went there to shop for wardrobe earlier today, and I've been tired the whole day, and now I have a headache. So that's probably why I've been slightly grumpy in this review. But at Goodwill, there was a woman going around vacuuming the store.
And she started about an hour and a half before the store closed.
Yeah.
There's no reason for doing that. And it had a very long cord, so she was everywhere, and she was driving people away.
Yeah.
People were hurriedly getting out of there.
Yeah.
And I knew people at the checkout, which was on the complete opposite side of the room. I've known one of them for years. And you couldn't talk because she was vacuuming. She came up there and started vacuuming. We couldn't have a conversation. I mean, if we had a question or there was something wrong with whatever we had, we wanted to know what the price was, something, anything. It would have been hard to hear. It was completely disruptive.
Very annoying.
Really irritated me.
And, it was really, really annoying.
But back to this, I don't know. We thought, what I said at the very beginning was, they could have done better.
Yeah.
They could have just let him escape with her, and they go away. And so they disappear from the series, and maybe they'll come back. Because everybody always comes back, don't they? Like Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
She just showed up. And
to me, it felt like they knew that nothing happened this episode, so they were trying to make it more meaningful by going like, oh, well, let's have it to where a character dies. Isn't that dark? That's what it was. It was like, okay, we got to kill someone now. Got to kill a character off because the show's almost done for the season. And what really bothers me too is that the rest of the season, they wrote it intending on Daniel surviving. They wrote it, to where Buck and Daniel got closer and closer and closer, and they spent all this time together. They did that so that Buck would let him go. And then Buck doesn't let him go. He kills him. I mean, that's just such bad filmmaking. It's such bad storytelling. And it's such a shame.
Well, but that's it. That's
Yeah.
the whole episode.
Hardly anything.
And really, there was hardly anything. And I'm just trying to figure out what they're going to do for the finale.
Oh, I've seen pictures and clips. There's going to be some kind... Karen gets out somehow, and Kingpin also sits down as the judge in the courtroom. Should never happen in real life.
No.
And then all the people in the show, they show up at the town hall or something to confront Kingpin. I also saw a shot of Kingpin is beating up protesters, and maybe he kills some of them or something. So maybe there's a January 6th type of situation, but it's an Uno reverso on Kingpin.
And of course, the governor will be suspending him. And so if they have all that happen, then the other's going to happen.
I guess you could call it the downfall of Kingpin, which...
Yeah.
It's called the Southern Cross or something, and so I don't know what that means or something, but I'm just really displeased with the show. I just don't like it. I think that the writers are not doing well at all. And it partially has to do with they don't have any episodes. I mean, they only have 8 episodes, and so you can hardly do anything. But the other part would be they just didn't make a good show. They just didn't write a good story, which is weird because in the first season, everyone was so confident, including us, about these writers are going to take over and they're going to save the show. And honestly, I think the original team was better, slightly. I mean, they just needed notes and feedback. But I think that they had better things that they did. And overall, I would also... What do you think about this, Safi? I think season 1 was better. What do you think?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I just don't...
Don't remember?
It's like... They were fortunate, too, that they were able to have all these original characters back.
Yeah.
So it could have been somebody said, I don't want to do it. But they all have worked together, have experienced working together, and so all they had to do was come up with something that made it a good story. And because they had so much the good cast to work around, and they didn't. It's almost like they wasted an opportunity. And that's a shame. And it's really almost criminal because they have the money, and I know they only had 8 episodes, but they could have done it. We just watched Dark Winds, which is completely different, but they seem to manage to get what they needed to do done in 8 episodes.
Yeah, Dark Winds did a good job, actually, with the most recent season. I just
and they
think...
had an whole involved storyline in there, too.
Well, I just think, though, I think 8 episodes isn't enough. And we're constantly being proven that with these bad episodes, these bad shows. And so it almost makes me just not want to watch TV, these shows. Because, MasterChef, that's 16 episodes or more. Hell's Kitchen, same thing. American Dad, same thing. And those are all good. Why is that? Because they have more episodes.
And Marvel, this is a Marvel thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have tons of characters.
Marvel's cheap, and
They
don't
can
want.
bring them in there.
Marvel doesn't want to do anything.
They're available, though. I mean, they're there. They exist.
Marvel sucks. They just suck really badly.
I mean, here they had Bullseye, Jessica Jones, and then they had they had the Punisher.
The Jewish Punisher.
They have all these
yes.
people coming in, and they can have more come in.
And by the way, guys, I didn't know, but apparently the Punisher in the comics is supposed to be an Italian guy, and the guy playing him is Jewish, so I think that's totally inappropriate. You know,
There are Jewish Italians, you know.
there's no Jewish Punisher. So,
Whatever.
he sucks. He's not Punisher. And so that's going to suck, too. That's coming out this month. The Punisher special. And he's not even dressed like the Punisher. He's dressed like a hobo.
A hobo?
Yeah, he's got like a hoodie on, and he's got a beard, and it's like, that's not the fucking Punisher. So, I fucking hate what Marvel's done. I mean, Marvel sucks. They just have sucked with everything. And, you know, but it is what it is, you know. I'm not, like, totally upset about it, because I have other things to watch, you know. And so I give this episode an F, obviously.
I'll give it a D.
Oh. It's funny because before we did this review, I did an impression of Safi. I was like, I give it an F, and then I pretended to be Safi, and I was gonna. I thought she would say something like, I'll give it a B.
No, I think that they made a mistake with that killing.
Yeah.
And it would have been just as exciting to have them escape, show them escape. And, I mean, are they too stupid to figure out how to escape?
Or it could have been more intense and better done. Because this is why... Because when you write something, you have total freedom. You have total freedom over that material, the situation, the characters, everything they do. And so if they had known they wanted to kill Daniel, they could have written a better scene. They could have written a more intense scene. But still, I would not have wanted his character to get killed at all. So, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So, Marco, take it away.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. And tell Safi that she needs to drink more water.
I didn't cough during the entire episode, so...
I know, that's the joke. And then also, if you'd like to see more, please check out our Patreon page, because that is where you get access to the cool stuff, including spoiler-filled movie reviews, TV reviews, rankings, my short film. And we promise that if you're new to this channel, we promise not every video is like this. It's just that this is a terrible show. We both don't like it very much, as it seems. And so it's kind of a chore to review. So that's it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.